How would I make my first £50,000 in the property investment business? I got asked this question this morning at the gym. I know you're going to be watching this, so this one's for you. First way I'd do it, I'd find and sell deals. The average fee nowadays is around, I'm going to, generalise here, is around £5,000 for the prices that we're at. We're around 150, between 120, 180 for a low val property around here. You do well to find them lower than that. So relatively speaking, we're in and around £5,000 for a fee. Now, if you want 50 grand, you need 10 of them. So that's less than one per month. Right, I'll break that down in a minute. Second way I'd do it, this is the well-trodden path. Everybody and the mama is doing this way. Second way I'd do it, I'd trade. This one might require a bit more capital. This one doesn't require much capital at all. So depending on where you are, there's no right or wrong. And there aren't many people who take this route at the beginning because it takes guts and an appetite to risk that many people who haven't been in business haven't really taken before, and therefore if you haven't took it, it's quite difficult to be in that frame of mind, right? So that's the well-trodden path. This is the path less travelled, say. Okay, so this one's a trade. So let's say you make 25k per trade. You'd need to do 2 of those in 12 months. Okay, horses for courses. Life dependent, context dependent, where you are in life, what you've done, experiences, blah, 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 right? Finding and selling a deal. Where would I find them? I'm not going to go into full detail here. There's many people who charge thousands and thousands of pounds for this. It doesn't have to be that difficult. It's not as complicated as everybody makes out. However, if you're finding properties for people, you're meant to be under the Estate Agency Act and all that stuff. I think it's a lot of nonsense, to be honest, and so many people are worried about it before they actually get into business. Don't worry about all this regulatory stuff necessarily before you actually got the wheels in motion. I'm not saying don't regulate yourself, just be aware of it. You're meant to be a member of the Property Redress Scheme, the ICO, which is the Information Commissioner's Office, indemnity insurance, and anti-money laundering. Okay, so I think that's the 4 that you need. You are meant to do it. Please do it if you're going to start running it as a business. Yeah, we are. But I mean, if I was just starting again, just watch this YouTube video. Don't be scared of all that stuff. Just get out there and try and find a load of deals. When you come to sell it, get yourself registered. Then it doesn't take long. Okay, so you need to do 10 deals, £5,000 fee. Where do you find the deals? Go where all the deals are. The estate agents have all the deals. Where do the estate agents market their deals? The property portals. Now that is Rightmove, Zoopla, on the market to the major 3. Rightmove is obviously the daddy. There are plugins on Google Chrome. You can put in a plugin like, there's one called Property Log. Property B, I'm not sure if that's still going, but it used to be quite good. But Property Log tracks in real-time data. If that property drops 10%, it'll come up on Rightmove. You'll put in the postcode and it'll show you that the price has dropped, which is useful information, of course, if it's been stuck on the market 6 months and it's dropped 30% in value. There's probably a little bit of motivation there from the sellers. And I remember a quote, an old mentor of mine, he said, only work with motivated sellers, otherwise you have a head full of grey hair. So only ever work with motivation. Don't work with people who aren't bothered if they sell or not, right? Property portals, Rightmove, Zoopla, on the market. Use the plugin. There is also a couple of like new companies and software systems whereby it harvests all this data, properties that have just come on the market, properties that have come off the market, aka sold and then come back on. That's quite good information as well. You can find those, go on Google, just put in property investment software and a load of them will come up. They range from you know, 100 quid a month, and you can pay up to like £1,000 a month, I'm guessing, on some of these things. I don't tend to use them just because I use my phone now. I can just ring people and can get deals sent to me. But if I was starting again, I'd look at that software. If it was within budget, I'd pay for it. But I just use, I think it's like a £5 a month or something. I use Property Log at the moment, and it just shows me the property prices that have they've dropped in the location that I look for. So I would go on there, I'd find that. If you haven't got much money, just use Property Log. Properties that have discounted, properties that have 2 or more agents trying to sell it, properties that you know, the images are horrendous, really distressed, been on there a long time. Okay, now this is easy, anybody can do this, right? You don't need any money to do it. I mean, I think Property Log do a free trial, so you can try it yourself. You can pay for it, it's like £5 a month, next to nothing. And you can get this type of information from there, or you can at least work it out yourself by the discounted rates, by how long it's been on there. Rightmove, you can put time added on the market and over 6 months, before 6 months, stuff like that. You can figure that out yourself. Find out these type of properties, and then what I'd do, I'd send them a letter to that property. So let's say you get a database from this of 30 properties. I'd then send letters to that 30 properties. You only have to handwrite one. Don't type it up. Ideally, handwrite the letter. If you can get the name perfect, it costs you £3 on Land Registry. You can download the title deed and then just write their name in. That's ideal because it becomes personable. If not, no big deal. The open rate, is slightly better with names, but you know, give or take, if you don't be paying £3 for every 30 letter, you know, £3 per letter, you don't need to. Dear homeowner, we're looking for properties in this area. Would you be prepared to sell? We're a cash buying company. We can close to your timelines. Best wishes, blah, blah, for example. Write a letter that you'd open, you'd be engaged with. And then I'd see the response rate. I'd track that over a month or two's period. I'd find, ideally, you'd be sending 100 letters a week if you can. You need to get enough numbers out there in order to get the information, the data back, to figure out what's working and what isn't working. So I track data off that. And then let's suppose, you know, you don't know the creative investment strategies and deal structures, and all you know is a cash offer, right? So you put 100 cash offers out and you land 2 or 3. What are you going to do with them? So that's the other side of the equation. That's how you drive leads, how I would start driving leads if I had to with very little money. And if I got 2 or 3 leads, how would I get rid of them? You're looking for investors at this point. Let me make it abundantly clear. If the deal's good enough, you'll sell the deal. Guarantee. Guarantee you'll sell the deal, because all you'll have to do if it's that good is ring me and I'll buy it. And I'll pay you a fee. And if I don't want it, I'll know people who will buy it. So, a bit of a clue there. In the industry, it's called co-sourcing, which is if you haven't got a list of buyers, investor buyers, use somebody else who has and split the fee. So if you're looking at a £5,000 fee, you'll make £2,500 co-sourcing in this example. That's one way of doing it. You can also do it vice versa. So if you have a list of buyers, you haven't got any deals, you haven't got any sellers, go elsewhere, use their sellers, split the fee. Right? It works both ways. How do you get a list of investors? Co-sourcing, use people like myself who do have buyers. LinkedIn. LinkedIn's a powerhouse of a social media platform. Lots of business does go on there. It used to be a bit of a joke in my opinion, but now it's pretty solid. There are Facebook groups that you can go on. Network meetings you can attend. although a lot of network meetings aren't very good, it's generally people who are getting into the game. You want to be working with people who have been in the game. And you, as a new person, someone looking to make their first 50 grand, needs to provide value somewhere. So you either bring a buyer, you bring a seller, or you bring time, you bring money. Time, money, or experience. If you haven't got one of those, it's quite difficult to get into the game. But you can, providing you can give some value somewhere to people. And that's how you get investors to begin with. None of this really takes much money. It takes effort and it takes experience. You'll get experience. It takes effort. It takes communicating and speaking to the right people. I can sell your deals for you if you bring them to me, if they're good enough. If you have buyers, I can provide deals to you that I don't buy. They're not right for my investors, but they might be right for your investors. There's always somebody out there, right, for these deals. Particularly if the deal's good enough, you'll sell it 100% because the demand is and will always be so high. So that's the first way. Sell 10 deals, 5K, 20 deals at 2.5K. That's one way. Now, the second way is to trade. In this example, we're just going to go for 2. But if you're going to make 10K a trade, you're going to have to do 5, you know the score, up to 50K. So trading, what do I mean by trading? I mean buying something and selling it again. This is one for the riskier personality, the character that has a healthy appetite with risk. Trading. You buy it at 100K, you sell it at 125K, you don't touch it. Not necessarily you don't touch it, but a lot of people don't touch them. You can just buy them, sell them straight away. You might buy it for 100, you might have to spend 2 or 3K on it. You might have to clean it all out if it's been a mess, clear the garden up, board up the windows, sell it again for 125. Now this is usually done through auctions, purely because of the certainty. When the hammer goes down and there's an exchange of contracts, the deal's done. So if you buy stuff cash, you flip it into the auction room, you exchange straight away with it, usually with a 28-day completion. So you can, within 2 months, you can buy and sell something. Cash in the bank. Now, if I were to do this, where do I find these deals? 1, people who have deals but don't know what to do with them. Very often heavily distressed. And when I say heavily distressed, I can be talking about structural problems, subsidence, heavy cosmetic refurbishment works, asbestos, foam in the lofts, insulation, Japanese knotweed. All of these real big problems that people perceive as a problem in their head comes under heavily distressed. That's what we trade. Now, when I say trading, I don't mean buying, spending 30 grand on a refurbishment and selling it again, although you could do that. You know, that is one way to make 50 grand. In this example here, I'm talking about trading, wholesale trading, which isn't the same thing. So I'll find these deals through estate agents, ring them and you say to them, what do you do with the deals that no one will buy? What do you do with structural problems, properties that can't get mortgages on them for whatever reason? They're the ones. And you have to have the balls to be able to buy them and sell them again. It's also more capital intensive because generally speaking, you'll be buying these things with cash or a bridging loan. Okay, so this one here, no capital, but labour intensive, or more labour intensive. This one here, less labour intensive, but more capital intensive. More cash. So that's what I'd do if I wanted to make my first 50 grand. This is one of my favourite strategies. Even today, I'll be doing this. And these little cash pots that we make, they keep us in business sometimes for cash flow purposes. You know, if we need some of our planning fees on the grade 2 listed stuff, you know, we paid nearly 20 grand, and trading some of the stuff through the auctions have actually paid for all that stuff. We'd really struggle otherwise. So this is one of my favourite strategies even today. Maybe this is why I'm heavily influenced to put that here. This is a path very well walked. All these courses and people charging thousands of pounds get people to source properties for their investors, ironically usually selling them to the people taking the course, the irony. But this one is very rarely taught. Maybe because of the level of risk, which it is, but if you need any help with it, ring me, I'll talk you through it. Don't expect anything from it. Happily talk you through it. Just find the deals, bring them to me, and we'll do some, you know, one-on-one stuff. No problem. So that's what I do to make my first 50 grand.